Hummus is everywhere in the Middle East, and so is the argument about who invented it. Lebanon, Israel, and Palestine each claim it as their own, and the debate can get surprisingly intense. But the real story of hummus is far older, stretching back through ancient agriculture, medieval kitchens, and shared Levantine traditions that existed long before modern borders. So today, we're looking past politics to uncover the true origins of this beloved dish. So what is hummus really? At its most basic, hummus contains 4 core ingredients: chickpeas, tahini, sesame paste, garlic, and lemon. In Arabic, hummus simply means chickpeas. In Hebrew, the word is similar. In many early references, the word hummus refers not to the dip, but to the bean itself. The earliest versions of hummus were not served with olive oil swirls and paprika. They were rustic, simple, textured dishes eaten by peasants, travelers, and farmers. Ancient people prized chickpeas because they were cheap, filling, and easy to grow in Mediterranean climates. Yet the question remains, when did someone first think, let's mash chickpeas and mix them with sesame paste? That moment is the heart of the origin debate. Why does hummus spark debates? Few foods in the Middle East create as much argument as hummus. Every country with chickpeas claims it. Every country with tahini claims it. And every country in the Levant has hummus woven into its national story. For Israelis, hummus reflects local energy, newcomers who adopted Middle Eastern foods, and shared culinary roots with Arab neighbors. For Palestinians, hummus is a symbol of deep cultural continuity, a dish their ancestors made long before modern borders. For Lebanese and Syrians, hummus embodies ancient Levantine cuisine, long predating the existence of modern states. National pride, cultural identity, and historical memory all play a role. But the truth is older, much older. To understand the real origins, we need to follow the ingredients themselves. The first ingredient, chickpeas, is older than history. Chickpeas are among the earliest domesticated crops in human history. Archaeologists find chickpeas as far back as 10,000 years ago in ancient settlements from southeastern Turkey through Syria to the Mediterranean basin. They appear in Bronze Age cooking, in early Mesopotamian diets, and in biblical and classical writings. Chickpeas were everywhere, from Egypt to Canaan to Persia and Greece. In the Hebrew Bible, chickpeas appear as a food eaten in fields. In the Quranic tradition, legumes appear as ancient staples of desert travel. But chickpeas alone don't make hummus. The second ingredient is equally ancient and equally powerful. The second ingredient, tahini, is the nutty heart of the dip. Tahini, made from ground sesame seeds, is one of the oldest condiments in the Middle East. Sesame was cultivated extensively in ancient Mesopotamia, Persia, and India. The Assyrians wrote about sesame more than 4,000 years ago, describing fields of sesame grown along river valleys. Ancient texts include references to sesame wine, sesame oil, and sesame paste. In Egypt, sesame was used medicinally and in cooking. In Persia, it was a prized ingredient used in royal meals. In the Levant, sesame cultivation spread along trade routes connecting Arabia, Syria, and Anatolia. By the time chickpeas were widely eaten in the Levant, tahini was already a culinary staple. But the earliest mashed chickpea dishes likely did not contain tahini. They were simply mashed or stewed chickpeas flavored with herbs or vinegar. The moment chickpeas met tahini is when hummus was born. But that moment took time. When did chickpeas and tahini finally meet? The earliest known hummus-like recipes appear in medieval cookbooks from the 13th and 14th centuries, especially in Cairo and Damascus. These recipes mention mashed chickpeas, vinegar, pickled lemon, herbs, tahini or sesame paste, garlic. One medieval cookbook describes hummus bi tahina, literally chickpeas with tahini. This is the earliest confirmed written recipe that resembles modern hummus. Was this the first time hummus appeared? Almost certainly not. This cookbook reflects recipes already widely known. But it does tell us something important. By the medieval Islamic era, hummus was already a Levantine staple. The region that most strongly emerges from historical evidence is the Greater Levant. Today's Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, and parts of Turkey. Hummus was in religious texts and traditions. While religious texts do not describe the modern recipe, chickpeas appear everywhere. In Jewish tradition, chickpeas are associated with holiday meals, mourning rituals, and agricultural rhythms. In Christian tradition, chickpeas appear in monastic cuisine, often part of fasting diets. In Islamic tradition, chickpeas form part of early Arabian and Levantine staples, especially during Ramadan. What this tells us is simple. Chickpeas were universal, but tahini was most deeply rooted in Levantine and Mesopotamian cuisine. That convergence is crucial. It shows why the Levant, not Egypt or the Arabian Peninsula, is the likely birthplace of hummus. The medieval cookbooks were the first evidence of hummus. The most important sources come from the Kitab al-Tabikh, the Book of Dishes, written in the medieval Islamic world. These books include several chickpea dishes, including chickpeas mashed with vinegar and tahini, chickpeas cooked with lemon, pureed chickpeas pressed with garlic and herbs, sesame-based sauces mixed with legumes. One recipe calls for chickpeas mashed to a fine paste with tahini and served cool, remarkably close to what we know today. The geographic center of these texts points strongly to Cairo and Damascus, two major culinary capitals of the medieval Islamic world. This reinforces a Levant-Egypt axis for the early spread of hummus. The Ottoman era was how hummus became widespread. The Ottoman Empire, which ruled the region from the 1500s to early 1900s, played a major role in spreading culinary practices across modern-day countries: Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, and Iraq. Ottoman kitchens blended regional ingredients and helped standardize many dishes we now see as Middle Eastern. During this era, hummus spread widely across the Levant. Urban centers such as Aleppo, Damascus, Jerusalem, and Cairo became famous for their chickpea-based dishes. By the 19th century, hummus had become a common breakfast food in Levantine cities, often eaten warm with olive oil and spices. But modern national identity, the kind that sparks hummus debates, did not yet exist. That part came later. In the 20th century, the Middle East underwent enormous political and cultural change. New states formed, borders hardened, national identities strengthened. Food became part of that identity. Lebanon claimed hummus as a national dish. Israel integrated hummus deeply into its cuisine, as many Jewish immigrants from across the Middle East brought variations with them. Palestinians viewed hummus as an ancestral food eaten long before the modern era. Syrians and Jordanians considered hummus part of their Levantine culinary heritage. This created a new layer of debate, not about ancient history, but about modern national pride. The famous Hummus Wars, including record-breaking competition for the world's largest hummus dish, became symbolic cultural gestures rather than scholarly arguments. To find the real origins, we need to step back from politics and return to historical evidence. Lebanon versus Israel versus Palestine, and what history actually shows. Here is the truth, based on archaeology, agriculture, and medieval culinary texts. Chickpeas are ancient across the entire Middle East and Mediterranean. Tahini originates broadly from Mesopotamia, Persia, and the Levant. The first documented hummus-like dishes appear in medieval Egypt and the Levant. The Levant shows the strongest culinary continuity into modern hummus. This means hummus is Levantine, older than modern borders, older than modern states, older than the modern Middle East itself. That includes today's Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, Syria, and Jordan. No single modern country can claim to have invented hummus. Instead, it evolved organically in a region that shared ingredients, culture, and trade for thousands of years. Why hummus became an identity? It is eaten with family. It is shared at gatherings. It is part of religious and cultural traditions. In a region shaped by migration, conflict, heritage, and connection to land, food becomes identity. Hummus is personal, cultural, and emotional. How did hummus spread across the world? Hummus left the Middle East through trade routes to Greece and Cyprus. Middle Eastern diaspora communities. Jewish immigrants bringing recipes to Europe and America. Lebanese and Palestinian restaurant owners opening eateries abroad. Global vegan and health food trends. Mass production by large companies in the 1990s and 2000s. By the early 21st century, hummus exploded in popularity worldwide. Supermarkets began offering multiple flavors. American restaurants offered it with everything. But behind the global trend lies a humble, ancient food with deep roots. What is the cultural meaning of hummus today? Today, hummus is a daily breakfast food in parts of the Middle East. A symbol of Levantine culinary heritage. A connection to ancient agriculture. A bridge between cultures. A comfort food for millions. A global health trend. A reminder of how food carries history. Hummus is one of the few dishes that crosses boundaries rather than reinforcing them. Its ingredients are simple. Its preparation is humble, yet its meaning is profound. The real origin of hummus is not a single country, but a shared region, the Levant, where cultures, empires, and families blended flavors for millennia. Hummus may seem small, simple, and everyday, but its story is anything but ordinary. Its true origin is not one place, but many. It belongs to the Levant, to the cooks of the past who mashed chickpeas long before recipes were written down. So, the next time you dip warm bread into hummus, remember, you're tasting history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the real origins of hummus, please like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover the stories behind the world's most fascinating places, one name at a time.